We ready?
Let's roll it.
All right. Welcome back to the Creatives POV podcast. I'm Noah.
And I'm Ethan.
And we have a very special guest. We got the boy, Erik Fahner, with us today. Erik is like an entrepreneur, right? Brand owner, designer, and probably a bunch of other things. And we're just going to...
We just found out podcaster.
Yeah. We just found that out too. So, Erik, go ahead and kind of like give the people a proper introduction and tell everyone about yourself, bro.
What's up? I'm Erik. I got a clothing brand called BiigPluto, and I don't know, I love to skateboard. I love life, and excited to be here.
Yeah, that's sick, bro. So how did you start this journey, as a creative, as a brand owner? How did that all begin for you?
I was always creative as a kid. Like, I liked to draw. Art class was always my favorite. But it was pretty much always soccer. Like, I wanted to be a professional soccer player. So I kind of pursued that, like, super passionately. Like, no plan B. I'm going to be a pro player. And then when I was playing in school, I kind of fell out of love with the game, like, my junior year. And from then on, like, it was kind of seamlessly. I was in a painting class and picked up some graphic design classes, and it kind of just worked out that I was like, I'm gonna start a brand, like, as soon as that ended. So
Okay. And what school were you at?
I was at Drake.
Drake?
Yeah.
So you played soccer for Drake?
Yeah.
That's fire. What was that experience like?
It was cool. I mean, I loved soccer, and all the guys were awesome. So it was great. Yeah, I loved it.
Are you from Des Moines originally?
No, I'm from Omaha.
Okay. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Omaha?
It was cool. I mean, it's kind of just blurred out. Like, it straight up, like, it was soccer.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty unfamiliar with Omaha, to be honest.
Did you move to the Des Moines area for Drake then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year were you at school?
What you mean?
Like what year did you go to school? What college, or what year were you in college?
All 4 years. Yeah, and then I did my master's there as well.
Okay. And when did you graduate?
2022, something
Okay.
like that.
Right on.
Yeah, I kind of forgot.
What did you major in?
Environmental science, and then
Okay.
did some graphic design.
Right on.
So, what are your thoughts on like a college education for creatives? Like, do you think it's necessary looking back at it?
No, I mean, to be honest, it's tough. Like, with how much it costs to go to college, like, if I was fully aware of what I was getting into, then I probably wouldn't have. But, like, soccer scholarship helps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know, from my experience with just life and, like, creating the brand, it's like I'm gonna build this thing because I'm passionate about it, and I have, like, a vision in my head of I can create this thing. And so I did that, and then people start to come to you of like, oh, you know how to do marketing, like, oh, you design clothes, like, you're artistic, you can do all this stuff, and then opportunities start to arise that way. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's what I would say. If you have like a vision in your mind of, like, something that you feel like you're capable of, I can do this, then just do it, and then the opportunities will come to you, and, like, maybe you won't even need to go to college.
Yeah. So, how long has BiigPluto been a thing? Because I found you probably like a year ago, so I know you were really established when I first came across the brand. So, like, how long you been going?
About 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, it was just my 3-year anniversary last month.
Oh, nice, bro. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Dude, how does it feel to be like 3 years old?
It's kind of crazy. Like, I I was kind of thinking about that the other day. Like I feel like I just started it, and yeah, and looking back, like it's cool to be like I did that. Like people didn't believe in that or like see that vision, but I poured everything into it and got it to this point. So it's cool to look back on.
Yeah, yeah.
How did you come up with the name Big Pluto?
So yeah, during COVID is when I started it, and there was just aesthetic pages on Instagram, like a plastic plant. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they just post like kind of whatever, like just cool shit. They just post whatever they want, and there's kind of like a community built around it. And so there was one called Lil Jupiter that was kind of popping, and I just really liked it for some reason. So yeah, I just, during COVID, I was like, I need a creative outlet. And so I started BiigPluto, just inspired by Lil Jupiter. And it was just an aesthetic page for like close to a year, maybe 6 months. I just posted whatever I wanted. And yeah, I didn't like push it or anything, but it was just kind of like me, and like I'd go on walks and take artsy pictures and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Okay. So no like Lil Uzi influence
No,
there? Because that's
no.
what I was thinking when I
Yeah.
first saw. I was like, I mean, you know, Lil Uzi has some like songs
Right.
about Pluto or whatever. So,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
cool to hear like the actual like, you know, meaning.
Yeah.
and where it
So
came
whenever
from.
you first started, it wasn't like originally like I'm going to start a clothing brand. It was just
No.
social media.
Yeah, it just was an aesthetic page, and then I didn't really have any followers, maybe like 5 or 10 followers of just people I knew. But then in college, when all that happened, it was kind of amazing. Like right when I fell out of love with soccer, people talk about how there's like a kind of a depressing stage when they're done with athletics, or like some stage of their life that they spent like 20 years building. And then it's like who am I? Like what do I do now? And that's kind of like a depressing spot. But it, for me, it just clicked in my head of like, okay, I'm in a painting class. I started painting on clothes, and then I was like, I could learn how to screen print. So I learned how to screen print, ruined my whole wardrobe, and then yeah, from there I was like, I might as well just use this page for the
Yeah.
brand. Started pushing it.
When did you get your first screen printer?
I think it was my junior year of college. I just made it.
You made it?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It was like a 2x4, and then like a wood sheet, and then like door hinges that you put the screen on.
Yeah.
Flip it over, and
Okay.
right.
Dang, that's sick, bro.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
That's innovative.
Yeah, and that's the cool part. Like I literally started a brand with like no money. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from learning.
Right.
So,
That's a good point, because I feel like, I mean, even for myself, I can make that excuse up like, oh, I don't have the money to buy this thing, which will, you know, level up my stuff. But it's a good reminder that it's just about the creative behind it also.
absolutely.
So how would you describe BiigPluto to someone that maybe hasn't like seen your work?
I've kind of learned to just describe it as me. Like it's just, I just be as authentic as I can, and like what I learned throughout life, like I'm just gonna jot that shit down and like draw, and whatever music I'm hearing like influences a lot of my work. So it's literally like my mind, and I try to drop, like I was on a schedule where it was like twice a month. So as soon as an idea came in, I would get the collection, like have these ideas that I wanted to share with people that excited me. And then from then on, like I have my 6 months ahead of me, like scheduled kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And then during that period, it's like I'm just engulfed in the work. Like I'm printing the samples, taking product shots, which like I love all of that. Like I love getting to know people. You got to hit people up to like do product shoots and photo shoots and stuff like that. And yeah, just falling in love with that process for those 6 months. And then I get to the end of that and I'm like, okay, I gotta create. So then like whatever, you go on a walk or do whatever you need to do to get creative. And then like ideas start coming in and it's like, okay, I got the next 6 months.
So you're coming up with ideas 6 months in advance is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Something like
totally
that?
random. Like sometimes I'll come up with an idea, draw it, get it on the computer, run to go get the screen set up and everything and drop and like post the sample the next day. So like it can be anywhere from like a day to like I got the next 6 months planned out.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's a lot of like stuff you're pushing out too. Because you said you try to drop how many times
I was doing
month?
twice a month,
Twice a month?
like 2 collections a month.
Damn.
And then I just kind of wanted to mess with the idea of doing 1 collection a month. So I slowed it down a little bit. But actually, the idea behind that is Russ the rapper. I read his book. It's All in Your Head. It's so fire. You should read that if you got a dream and you want to pursue it because it's dope. But he talks about he had like he was going at this music thing and like everybody was dropping albums and it was hard to get traction on an album. And so what he did was like drop singles. So if you've seen his music, he's just got so many singles.
Right.
And so yeah, I was like, I'm gonna do that, but with clothes. Like I'm just gonna drop piece after piece after piece,
Yeah.
and then put them in mini collections. But as long as like I keep on pushing out pieces, and like at the beginning of the year, I see 12 months ahead. No matter what, I'm gonna drop 2 collections each month. That's 24 collections, and like that's a lot of clothes that
Yeah.
I'm thinking through, creating, shooting, like the whole process. So at the end of that 12 months, like I'm gonna be a lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Is that like hard financially to like fund, or are the people purchasing your stuff kind of just paying for the next drop and like all the stuff that goes into it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, in that process, like I'm just removed from it. Like I don't even think about the finances really. Like people like it. So yeah, like it does fund more than enough for the next. And like I'm super blessed with my community. Like sometimes I can't sleep at night because I'm so grateful that it does do well. But yeah, like I don't even got time to think about that really. It's just like
Yeah.
on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. And then it's like you look back and you're like, okay, that was cool. We made some money.
Yeah. So you said like getting out and enjoying nature inspires you a lot. Are there any like other creatives or brands or like specific music artists that really like inspire you?
Yeah, I was in a stage where I loved Fred again. He was kind of like an
Yeah.
up and coming house artist, but I kind of related a lot to what he was doing because he would sample pieces from like spoken word poetry or music or like underground singers, people that like aren't popular at all. And like he would resonate so heavily with this, and you could tell he was obsessed with this piece of work. And then with that, he would put his own spin on it. And so like that related to me a lot because I feel like I do that with a lot of the work that I create. It comes from something where an idea pops in. And so I was just like massively obsessed with his music. And yeah, as far as brands, I love Pythia a lot. They're super fire. And the way they like lay out their drops and the way they build community is like what I structured my brand around.
Yeah. So community is like super important. for
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. And I love like getting to know people. Like that's my favorite part about the brand is like the people I get to connect with and people that can say that like my message made a difference in their life and stuff like that. It's just super dope.
Yeah. Speaking of like that, like messages and stuff, like I noticed a lot of your drops have like messages to it, and a lot of them are really like positive messages. I mean, I've never seen like a negative one, but
Yeah.
so like speak on that a little bit. Like, what do you hope people feel like when they get clothing from you?
Yeah, so like I kind of struggle with this a little bit because I'm huge into like talking with people, connecting with people, finding out like if they're truly happy or not, and shit like that. Just getting below the surface and like what's really going on. So with that, like, remind me your question.
I think you're asking like, what do you hope people like feel?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like a big part of what I do with that is like I learn and grow, and I put in so much information in my mind of like trying to truly be happy and like live a life of like my highest self. So with that, I feed my mind with so much positivity and like affirmations, like spiritual stuff, like kind of being present in the moment, stuff like that. Like it sounds kind of cheesy, but I truly do spend so much time taking that stuff in. So, and where I struggle is that's not always your reality, right? Like
Right.
I have dark thoughts, and like sometimes I be depressed and like upset and shit. That's just human. Like no matter what, you're gonna go through those things, but like you also have a choice in my mind to fight it and like and feed your mind with positivity and learn about yourself and
Yep.
what makes you happy. So that's kind of the balance of like I try to keep it real sometimes. Like I just dropped a collection that was the good news collection, and that was kind of the premise is like fill your mind with that good news, and a lot of good fruit will come from that. Like good things will come out of life if you fill your mind with good stuff.
Yeah.
But and like in the middle of that, it was probably one of the lowest moments I've had of like a week or two of just chaos, and I'm like, like this sucks. So
Yeah.
then I had a thought that was like, maybe we're all a little crazy, but we're just pretending to be normal. So like, I dropped that as a free T-shirt with the collection, just to keep it real. Of like this is that good news. Like it's powerful. Like feeding my mind with delusion of like you can create a brand and you can get to 10K followers and then you can keep growing and stuff like that. Like I started from zero. So like that was all delusion of me feeding my mind with this positivity of like, dude, you can do this shit. Like you can build like a streetwear house in a community and make a living and like all this stuff. Like that's all like delusional, bro. Like I just put that shit into my mind and then made it a reality. So that's like the hope with the message that I put out. Like I'm not always feeling super happy and shit like that, but like there's power to trying.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I relate to this a little bit because like even that one time when I saw you and I met you for the first time,
Hell yeah.
we kind of got into a little bit about like anxiety and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think for me since that moment, it's been like it's okay to feel your emotions and
Yeah.
like because they're real, and like I believe like God gave us emotions to feel.
Right.
And so, like, don't suppress them, but also, like you said, you can choose positivity and you can choose, like, to look on your circumstances with a different lens.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. And I just gotta say, like, I was with my girlfriend Mia, and yeah, you kind of opened up a little bit. And when Mia and I were talking, we're like, I love that kid so much. Like, so the power
Appreciate
of
that.
being real and vulnerable, like I felt connected to because it's real human emotion. So
Yeah.
yeah, like that was dope that you were able to do that. And I was just like, he's dope. I like this
Yeah.
guy.
Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So, man, speaking of like, so you're talking about growing social media a little bit. So obviously that didn't happen overnight, but you know, how many followers you at right now?
20,000.
So that's really big, like especially for like Iowa, like that's impressive, bro. So you're like
Thank you.
crushing it, man. So like, when did you see that growth like really start to take place?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a blessing. Like the first year and a half was like, I'm just gonna go hard. Like I said, like I'll lay out 12 months and just go and see what happens. And there, like if you look into the results and stuff like that of that year, it'd be like, you're crazy. Like stop this shit. But I just again didn't really think about that. Just kept going like, okay, here's the next 6 months. Like let's make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you it becomes more real, like, and you learn new ways to promote things, and you start putting money into it and stuff like that, and you start to believe in it and like push it out to more people and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and even that, like a lot of times it doesn't work, but if you don't have a plan B and you're like, I'm gonna make this happen no matter what, like
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna find a way.
Yeah. So just kind of consistency
Yeah.
and just not giving up and just keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have your break. Like if you stay consistent and you give yourself a lot of opportunities for something to catch the algorithm or just catch some whatever, like then it'll happen eventually
Mm-hmm.
as long as you don't give up.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about like collabing with other brands or doing some sort of a crossover thing with anybody?
Yeah. I mean, I would love to, like, absolutely. But like my mind's set on big things. Like I want to be around like high energy individuals that have like big dreams and like people that I look up to and shit like that. So for that, like I just really wanted to build my foundation of
Mm-hmm.
like, this is somebody that that person would like respect, or like he truly would look at my work and be like,
Yeah.
that's fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like that's one route to go, is like to reach out to people and stuff like that and build through that way.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like my confidence comes from my reps, like just putting in reps and getting better and getting good at my craft.
Mm-hmm.
And then people ideally seeking me out.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work that way. So like I would love to reach out to people, and I think there's a lot of power in reaching out to people and collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm starting to learn now that I have like my own foundation. I'd
Mm-hmm.
love to look into that avenue.
Yeah. Are there any like creatives in the area that you would want to work with, whether they're helping you with the photo, video side of things, collabing in that way, not just design?
Yeah, I love, like, I just love creative minds. Like that's why I'm here with you guys, because I love the way your mind works. And like when you got that Pluto fleece that I
Yeah.
gave you, you're like, dude, I got a shoot plan for
Yeah.
this. And I'm like,
We got to
hell
take that out for
Yeah.
a spin soon, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had so many people asking me where I got it on Sunday. It's crazy. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's getting hot out though, so we
Yeah, I
better
know.
do that
It's
quick.
tough. Yeah, but like I love creating with photographers and yeah, other creatives, even just talking to them and bouncing ideas off each other, stuff like that.
Yeah. What's your favorite drop that you've ever done? Like you look at it and you're just so proud, like I did that.
Ooh, Dude, that like when you ask me that, it's just like blurry,
Right.
Because I've dropped so
It's
much.
an overwhelming question.
Yeah, and I try not to look back at a certain thing because I want to move forward.
Right.
But the first one that comes to mind is the tell your friends you love them. It's not like art that I'm super super proud of. It was just kind of off the top, like it just flowed. Like my girlfriend was actually like had a friend that committed suicide, and someone like when we were out and about, I came across this pin that said mental health matters, and I wasn't really rocking with it at first. Like it just felt kind of cheesy, but I put it on and I just felt like proud to be wearing it. Like it felt like a good message. So I did a hoodie with that and then put tell your friends you love them on the back. And just because like it felt authentic in the moment of like this is real, that people struggle with mental health to the point where like they can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And so like that just it blew my mind. So I was like I could do something about this. Like what if this person had a little more love and support in that moment? So I dropped that, and then that's when like it was my biggest drop at that point, and it just went crazy. And then it was like super affirming that like wow, I can really do this. So that was a big one. That was like a special one that comes to mind.
Yeah. Talk about like mental health, like, and your experience with it, and how do you overcome those battles, you know? Because we all experience depression and stuff. We all experience anxiety, stress. How do you like overcome those kind of negative feelings or whatever?
I wish there was like a clean answer, but it's just
Right.
it's so unique and different because like that's why I started my podcast. I was like, I think I got the answer because I had 6 months of like super happy, and then you go down again, and it's like it's tough, bro. That shit's so hard. But again, if you keep trying to fill your mind with that good news and find a way out, like you'll find a way out. And I think ultimately you have a choice. Like even if it doesn't seem like it, like you can flip the switch to some sort of light that'll get you out of it. And truly, I think it's just hearing the right information at the right time or something like that. So yeah, I mean it's random.
What's your podcast name?
From Pluto with Love.
Okay. And you said it was on Spotify and what else?
Yeah, Spotify, all that stuff.
All of them?
Apple Music. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I don't really know.
Yeah. Damn, I'm gonna have to go listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it is like I hear something from some other source, and like I put it into my own words, or just like I was in a tough spot, and this is what I did to get out of it, or something like that, or like just whatever. Like I just like to document what I go through because one day it'll be super dope that lives on forever. Like
Right.
people can always go listen to know.
I've always thought about that. Like,
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but like early on when we started this, I remember bringing up like, it's crazy how like we can go back and look at these videos when we're like 80 years old, you know, if we live that long, right?
Yeah.
And we can like kind of reflect on where we came from.
Yeah.
And also our kids can do that too, you know? And yeah, it's kind of it's wild, man. The internet's crazy.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So when Des Moines creatives start popping off, you guys can like show the world like this is the first stage. Like this is
Yeah.
where their head was at before
Yeah.
all that happened.
Yeah.
And you guys got that forever. So it's dope.
Do you have an Instagram page for that too?
No.
Okay. Is that something you want to do eventually? Like make some more social media accounts to get it out there? Or you kind of like chilling right now?
I mean, potentially, it's cool to have the potential because people have $1 million businesses off of podcasts. So, like, you never know. That could be a potential huge outlet for something like that. So it's cool to just start and see what happens. But I mean, if you truly want to push it out, like I feel like if you guys stay consistent with your posting structure and like the way that reels work today, like some's gonna catch, you know,
Right.
if you're consistent, and then it's like boom,
Yeah.
now we're talking. So like that's the potential that I've thought about if I did that with From Pluto with Love, but it's all about where you want to put your energy, and like I don't feel established enough in my clothing to be like I'm gonna build this podcast now. Like I really want to be. I want to do the thing. Like I want to be 10 years deep. Like I did the thing. Like here's the evidence, and now like I'm gonna push out this podcast of like here's how I know I can help you.
Got it.
So now the focus is on doing the thing first.
Yeah.
Do you have any upcoming drops or anything that's like on the horizon that you're really excited about? I mean, are you still sticking with the 2 drops a month, or did
No,
you scale back to 1?
Yeah, doing one, just because I've never done 1 drop a month, so I wanted to see like if I could still gain traction with less work. And I think you can. I think whatever like vision you have in your mind, you can make it a reality. But for me, that feels like a long time, a whole month of like waiting when instead it was go, go, go. So to me, it kind of feels more authentic to drop twice a month. Just because it's off the top of my head. Like I don't think about it, because if you think too much about it, then you'll fall out of love with the idea, because you change so rapidly where it's like, I don't like this anymore. Like I'll push that idea to the side, and then you'll never like make it a reality. But if you just drop it, then some people will love it, some people won't, but it is what it is. It's nothing crazy. It's not that deep. It's just art. It's just clothing. If you like it, big time. But yeah, I try to stay away from making like a huge hit and just keep flowing. But as far as what I got coming up, I want to dive into the jewelry world a little bit. So I'm starting some of that, making some like soccer jerseys and like those fleeces. I'm trying to get more into manufacturing and stuff like that, on top of my own process of printing.
Yeah. A buddy of mine just dropped a collection of soccer jerseys. It's kind of cool how those
Hell
are just
yeah.
like, I don't know, popping up. Like it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put one on and like I love it. It just feels so unique. So that's cool. You'll have to plug me with those.
Yeah. Yeah. I will.
So do you keep like just a bunch of blanks on you like at your crib, or like do you order based on like, okay, I know I'm dropping this, so I gotta buy these blanks, bring them in? Like how does that work?
It's kind of random. I mean, normally I'll come up with the idea in my head and then draw it. And then from that drawing, like I can visualize that drawing on a certain piece. And then it's like, okay, I need to find out how to get this piece. So then I get that. And then when I get that, like sometimes it just makes more sense to buy more. So I'll buy like a whole bunch of blanks.
Right.
And then I have like a canvas for new ideas. So it's just kind of random.
Okay. Do you want to get to a point where you have a manufacturer and you're not using blanks as much?
I think so. Just as far as life goes, like it's strenuous, and I think I fucked up my back from like printing so much,
Yeah.
where my body was like in bad shape for a while. So like handing off that labor is something that I can see happening in the near future.
Yeah. I was going to go there. I was going to say, like, you want to expand your team? Like, do you want to get a space where you can, because do you print out of your own apartment?
Yeah. Yep.
So is your ultimate goal, like, I want to get my own, like, warehouse fulfillment space and kind of, like, have a home base?
Potentially. I mean, if it makes sense financially, like I'm out here trying to build my dream life and shit, you know. So, if it makes sense financially, then yeah. But for now, like I do really value that process of like being close to the garment and like and being part of the process. And I feel like people can feel that when they get the piece, that like I packed it and I signed the note and like made the stickers and shit like that. And then within those moments, like I read every name that ordered something. So like the gratitude I feel during those moments is like, and then I print like every hoodie. And so like it's so fulfilling in that moment being like, damn, all these people ordered. And then I gotta spend 2 days like printing and packing, and it's like it's so gratifying.
Yeah.
So it's super cool for now. And then the other thing is like people are hard to manage. Like you were saying with the podcast, like it is hard to connect with people and like get them to schedule. Like we were supposed to do this a while ago, but you know,
It's all good,
life
brother.
happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's that aspect of dealing with people to on my team of like,
Right.
are you in this as much as me? Like, can we
Yeah.
mutually benefit each other?
What's the most orders that have been placed at one time, and how long did it take you to get through all those, like printing them?
Probably about 300, and that was it was like 3 or 4 days of printing.
Like 9 to 5 type shit, or
Yeah, I mean, with that, like I just had a feeling it was gonna be big, so like I started before, and yeah, like when that happens, like I just disappear for 4 days, like it's gonna suck, but
yeah.
we're
But it's
locked
probably the
in.
most rewarding feeling when you're
Yeah,
all done with
it's
it.
yeah, like driving to the post office afterwards is amazing.
Yeah. Do you have any like horror stories, like with the post office? Like you're trying to get someone their order and they never get it. Like, has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does. Like every drop, there will be like one or two stragglers, or like, I don't know, sometimes people change addresses or just all sorts of random stuff. Like you name it, it's
Yeah.
probably happened, but you just deal with it. And like at the end of the day, like it's not that deep. Like I'm just gonna connect with that person and tell them like, hey, no matter what happens, like I'm gonna get you this hoodie. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Even if I lose money on it, like I'm not worried about it. Just like the energy transaction of like you fucked with this and then you liked it enough to buy it. Like I'm gonna get you taken care of.
Yeah. And then do you have a cap for like drops? Like, do you do like, 200, 300? What's your like cap?
Yeah, I mean, generally, it totally just depends. Like, it's so often that I drop and it's hard to predict. So, like, sometimes I'll order whatever 50 hoodies, 50 t shirts, like shorts, whatever, and cap it at a certain number. And then other times I like create a pre-order so that people can order it and then I can close it within a few days. And yeah,
You use
I-
Shopify?
yep, Shopify smooth. I used Wix, and then I wanted to work with like an ad agency. So when I was getting all set up, they're like, your website has to be Shopify. So then I had to switch over, but it was cool.
Do you still work with the ad agency?
No, it felt like very salesy. Like they wanted to make their bread, and then they wanted to push it out, and they weren't too worried about it being like creative, and it didn't feel as artistic and authentic and genuine. It felt more like salesy, like buy this,
Yeah.
and yeah, that didn't really align with me.
Yeah. So I got a few different friends that have their own brands, and like some of my friends will have their site open for like a day, and then some of them will have it open for a week. Is there like a good like spot that you found that you think is like strategically like works better to get more sales? Because I see the positives in like a shorter time span, because it makes people say, oh, I need to get it now. But then also I see the positives of like a longer one, because if they don't get paid, till next week, they have time to still get it, right? So like,
Right.
what do you try to do?
Yeah, I mean, it just all depends on your brand. Like, Represent is one that I've been super interested in. I think they're out of like the UK, but
Yeah.
they have like
I
offices
love
in
their
Cali
brand.
and shit like that. But like, they just have their site open with tons of stuff from like a super long period of time. And when I was with my ad agency, they had like he liked them too, so he was aware that they had like over 1,500 ads running.
Wow.
And so with his strategy, like he just had a strong enough community and a strong enough product that he could just keep it open and funnel people to his site and get traffic and sales like pretty consistently. But like smaller brands, people love like the hype and the community around something. So like a hoodie is gonna die out if it doesn't have that energy behind it.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to create. And like if you only have a few products, like maybe you keep it open for a long time and try to keep on marketing and selling those products over and over again. Like some people make it big off just a couple items. But like for me, I just love the process. Like I'm truly in love with the process of bringing my ideas to reality and like, yeah, making pieces over and over again. And I get bored of pieces. Like I love hoodies so much, but I'll always create new ones because I love wearing them.
Yeah. So, do you see yourself in Des Moines, like, for the foreseeable future, or do you think like you want to branch out and move at some point and go to a new spot?
Yeah, I mean, I visited California for the first time, and I fell in love with it. Like everything about it from when I was a kid. I loved like skateboarding and surfing and shit like that. So when I was there, like I felt just so energized. And I love water. Like it makes me feel alive to like swim and get in
Yeah.
water and just be in like the heat. Like feeling the difference in my mood from the winter until like when it got nice. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my God. So if I could feel that more year round, like that'd be big. And then also like people are doing the thing out there, you got like real artists and creatives that are like really doing the thing. Like that's their life. And I truly think like the people you spend time with and are around and like you're a summary of that, so like I'd love to be in the energy of that. Like I'd love to be walking down the street and see like a rapper or musician and like connect with them on just a real level and see if we can work together and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I would love that.
What part of Cali would you want to live in?
Yeah, I mean, I think LA would be the spot for something like that, but also went to San Diego and it was just unreal. Like if I were to retire, like that's where I'd want to be. So
Yeah.
why not retire now?
When do you want to retire?
I mean,
Ideally.
yeah, to be honest, I'd love to get that figured out, but I've never felt like I've worked a job. So like sometimes I wake up and I feel like I am retired. And like if I had all the money in the world, like I still would want to create. And like if you see, I don't know, other people growing and creating, then it's like, damn, like I want to be on that energy and that wavelength. So like I don't think I'd ever stop if I had all the resources. So I don't know, that's just how my mind works. Like I just feel like I would feel like a piece of crap if I retired. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Man, that is crazy. Because, like, right now, yeah. I mean, it sounds nice, but it's also like, would I ever stop doing what I love? No,
Yeah.
probably not.
Right.
Ethan, what about you? When do you hope to retire?
Man, I was talking to some friends about this, like whenever they were asking me, I think like my 10-year plan or whatever. I told them straight up, I was like, I would love to not have to pick up a camera in like 10 years, but only because like other people are picking up a camera for the first time and I'm like getting to show them like how easy it is to fall in love with it. Like if that makes sense. Like I don't like want to be like on set with a camera because I have to, but actually like giving opportunity to people who get to like find that love for it.
Yeah.
I think that's like the dream of not like retiring from like the work aspect of it, but like still being hands-on enough with like finding new things. And like you guys, I mean, you know me, like it's like I can't stay committed to one thing for too long because like I just want to try all the things. Like I want to try something new. So I feel like, you know, in 20 years maybe I'll like lose the cameras and, you know, whatever, like pick up mural painting or something like that. Like I would just want to still be involved in some kind of like creative outlet. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other creative outlets that we don't know about?
I love skateboarding.
That's
So,
sick, bro. I
yeah.
wish I could do that. I'd break my ankles. I'd try.
You could do it. You ever tried?
It's been a while. I don't even remember.
I
the
used to
last time.
skate a lot. It's been like years though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's cool. So have you done that like your whole life or what?
Yeah, I mean, I always skated, but like I couldn't really get injured because I was pretty serious about soccer, so I could
Yeah.
never really like pursue it that fully.
Yeah. Do you go to the skate park downtown a lot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's sick.
yeah, it's dope.
Would you ever collab with like the Do Tour or something?
Yeah,
I could see that for some reason. I think that'd be sick.
yeah,
I don't know how you do that, but if there's a will, there's a way.
yeah. I mean, it could be as simple as like meeting the right person and then like, yeah,
It really is simpler than you think.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
true.
That's true.
For sure.
What's your like big picture goal for BiigPluto?
Yeah, I gotta figure that out. Yeah, I'm not totally sure. I mean, as far as like you were talking about, when do you want to retire? Like I'm passionate about like taking care of my people and getting my finances in order and stuff like that. So I definitely want to get my basic needs met, and then beyond that, like it's where do I go from there? And I feel like just falling in love with the game, like falling in love with the process that I've been explaining, and then I feel like the money comes from there. And then I don't know, like I truly believe whatever you want it to become, like you can make it happen if you dive all the way into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of figuring it out. Do I want to make it like luxury or like for the people, like on the streets, stuff like that? So yeah, kind of gotta figure that out.
That's cool.
If you could give advice to a younger you or someone out there that wants to start a brand, what advice would you give them?
Yeah. Do like truly find out what makes you happy and like do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if I listened to my parents, then I would not have done as much of what made me happy. And then I would be in a job, like working, like making good money, maybe whatever. But like I would have this burning itch inside me of like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, like I'm the worst employee in the world because I am so stubborn of like, if I don't enjoy something, I'm not gonna do it. So I'm a terrible employee. Yeah, but pursue what makes you happy. Like I love taking pictures and videos. Like I love skateboarding and art class and stuff like that and soccer. And it's crazy because all that came together to like create BiigPluto. Like soccer gave me my drive and like being consistent and seeing progress. Like if I didn't play soccer, I wouldn't have the tools to like be consistent and like all in on something to be able to see progress. And if I didn't like skateboard and film than, because I had like YouTube channels growing up of like skateboarding videos and stuff like that. And that gave me like the skills to run an Instagram account and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's awesome, bro.
So it's cool to like dive into what you truly like, even if there isn't an outlet of like this financially is beneficial, because like I feel like God puts that vision in you for a reason, that if you pursue it one day you'll be like, oh, that's why that was on my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that explained pretty well, where like, I don't know, like whenever you're like a senior in high school or like graduating or whatever, the world's so big you don't know what to do or what to pursue. And the best advice that was given to me was like, well, like, what do you love to do? And is that something that you think like God would like be happy with you pursuing? Like, not just, oh, can I do it? You know, like, can you do it and make a living, retire happy, you know, make a bunch of money? Like, anyone could do that, you know, at a cost, like at a sacrifice. But like, can you do what you love? Like, find fulfillment in it, like please God, and like actually like live a life that you look back on and are satisfied with. Yeah.
That's the recipe.
Yeah.
And that was really good stuff, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Sir.
We end every episode the same way. And we talk about something that's inspired us recently. You want to go first?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So I had a crazy weekend. Like it was the busiest weekend I've had in a while. So Friday I was taking pictures for Northern Vessel, and then Saturday I was at the farmers market taking pictures for them. And then I had another photo shoot that started at 4, but it was an hour away. So I had to go to my homie's house at 2:30, and we had to pack, and we had to travel to the spot. And it was for his brand, which is called Uncertified. And it was super sick. So he's doing like a basketball themed drop this summer. It's like a shirt and basketball shorts, and then a duffel bag that you put a ball in and your shoes and stuff. And we were able to get the point guard for Iowa State to model it, Taman Lipsey.
Dope.
And so he met us out there. And so the amount of work that went into finding the location was a lot, actually, because we wanted an old school gym, and literally just went to Google and we're like, old gyms in Iowa, you know, and Des Moines really didn't have much to offer that we could find that had the exact look we wanted. But we found this gym in Yale, Iowa, which is out in the middle of nowhere. So
No way.
we had to call their mayor, and it was like a historical site too. So like they didn't really let people in there. And so we had to call the mayor, and the mayor's like, let me get back to you. Or actually, I think we called the facilities guy first for the building. And then he's like, let me talk to the mayor, which is his wife, because it's a small town.
That's hilarious.
Or his woman. I don't know if they're married or not, but basically they let us do it. And so Saturday we pull up, and literally the whole town of Yale is outside of this gym with foam fingers and Iowa State gear on, just to
No
meet Taman
shot.
Lips.
No
It was wild, bro. And at first I was like, how is he gonna feel about that? Because I know like we didn't know that was gonna happen, but he was so humble and like so like down to just, you know, take pictures with people and like hang out. And so while we were setting up, he was doing that. And then
That's
we
so
did the
wild.
shoot, and it was amazing. And it was the thing that inspired me. We'll get to that. Is like we came with all this gear, and like we brought lights like that. We brought all this stuff, and we got the shots that we planned on getting. But it was when the sun started to set and we had turned all the lights off, that the sun was just coming through this window, and it was hitting the middle of the court.
Yeah.
And it was like out of a movie. and it was so.
Dude, I gotta see those shots, bro.
I literally, the hair stood up on my arms because it was like insane.
Yeah.
And so, like, the other thing that was dope about Taman was he was in no rush at all. Like, sometimes athletes can, well, they're busy, first of all, but it's like, he easily could have been like, yo, I got like an hour, I got to get out of here. But he was like, I'm here. Like, I just want to help y'all. Like, I want to be a part of this. And he was excited. Like, we could just tell, like, he was into it. And so then we just got this crazy video that we never planned on getting. And it was so fire. So I'm excited for it to drop. So, and I'll show you guys off
that's
camera.
Sick, dude.
That's my big thing that inspired me. And then Sunday was Mother's Day. And so when you work in the church, that's my full-time job. It's like I'm taking pictures of all these people. So I had that after that busy Saturday. And then yesterday, I did a photo shoot for Good Company Barbershop, which is opening up in the same like building as Northern Vessel and Precious. And so did a photo shoot for them. And that was also super sick because like Precious, and we've had a couple of the people from there on our podcast, like graphic designers, web developers. They did the branding for them in their space. And so like getting to work with other creatives, is also inspiring because like I got to see their mood board before I took pictures. So then I could kind of know what we're going for. And I got to collaborate with more people than, just someone saying, hey, can you take my photos? It felt like just kind of a cool thing. So I don't know. Yeah, this is a very busy weekend, but like super rewarding. And I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
I'm just happy with how it all went down. Because I was nervous and I was like kind of anxious about it because it was a lot. Like I hadn't done that much in a while. So I was like, man, this is going to be a long weekend. But looking back on it, it was great. So
yeah, sick.
That's sweet.
I kind of had a pretty busy weekend too, but the thing that inspired me the most probably has just been a lot of music lately. I'm not like a big country fan, but Post Malone and Morgan Wallen dropped their song banger. Such a good they dropped it at the right time, right in time for summer. Just a great song for the summer. But then another friend of mine, he sent me a demo of a song that he just finished working on, and it's solid. It's a really good song. So I'm excited for him to drop that. Me and like some people from the team, we finished a song last Thursday that like we're super excited about. So yeah, just a lot of music stuff lately. That's just been like, I don't know, getting me fired up.
That's fire, bro.
Yeah.
And you're right. The Post Malone. So like, I'm not a country guy at all. Like, don't talk to me about country music, except ever since I heard Post Malone, like I don't know, it was probably like, I think it was like off of Stoney or something like that. I was like, this dude could kill country music.
Yeah.
Like he has that really good middle ground between like, he can rap, but also like rock music and country. Like, I love Post Malone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on the podcast.
You heard it.
He's going to be here in July.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Watching his live music is just stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I Fall Apart or like anything that like he's on the ground. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
I went to the Hollywood's Bleeding tour like back in like 2019, and it was so good. Like sometimes you'll go see an artist that you really like and they don't hit the same in person, but like he was one of the artists that was like very consistent, like sounded just like the recording and like the emotion that you're talking about. Like he does the thing. So that's sick.
That definitely inspires me when you can feel like the real emotion.
Yeah.
But I guess for me it'd be warm weather, like when that sun started hitting.
Yeah.
I got inspired to build something. And then also like you guys, for real, like just yeah, like you said, you still got your job, you're still working, but you're building a dream and like a vision and spending time talking to creatives and like networking and all that on top of it. Like that's super inspiring for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Much
you,
love,
man.
bro.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad we made it happen, and I'm excited to go back and like re-listen to it because I know we talked about a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for being on, man.
Of course.
Yes, sir. All right, this was another episode of the Creatives POV podcast, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.